Listen, I need to tell you something about that number. You've been chasing that retirement number. The one they say you need, it's a lie. Not because the math is wrong. The math changes every year. Last year, financial firms told Americans they needed $1.46 million to retire comfortably. This year, the number dropped to $1.26 million. Next year, who knows? Here's what nobody's saying. A single number can't possibly work for you. Your life isn't a spreadsheet. Your retirement won't be either. I've spent years watching people torture themselves over this. Good people, hard workers, folks who did everything right. They saved, they sacrificed, they planned. Yet they lie awake at night wondering if it's enough. The target keeps moving. Inflation rises, life changes, healthcare costs spike. That magic number becomes a moving mirage, always just out of reach. Northwestern Mutual surveyed thousands of Americans in 2025. More than half, 51%, believe they'll outlive their savings. Think about that. Half of us are terrified we'll run out of money before we run out of life. But here's the twist. Nobody tells you. The whole question is wrong. Your brain wasn't designed for this kind of planning. Research in behavioral economics shows we're terrible at making decisions about uncertain futures. David Blanchett, head of retirement research at investment firm PGIM, put it plainly, fixating on a magic number generates buzz but provides little actionable advice. Think about it. When someone tells you that you need $1.26 million, what does that actually mean for your Tuesday morning in retirement? Does it tell you how much you can spend on groceries? Whether you can visit your grandkids? If you can afford that trip you've been postponing for decades? It doesn't. The number sits there, massive and abstract, generating anxiety without generating clarity. Here's what the research reveals. People with anxiety and depression are almost 25% less likely to even open a retirement savings account. The very stress of chasing an impossible goal paralyzes us into inaction. I've watched this happen. A woman came to me once, tears in her eyes. She'd saved $400,000 over 30 years of teaching. I'm a failure, she said. I'll never hit the million. But when we sat down and looked at her actual life, her paid-off house, her modest needs, her pension income, she had more than enough. The magic number had robbed her of peace she'd already earned. The problem runs deeper than anxiety. Behavioral finance researchers discovered something fascinating. We humans suffer from what psychologists call hyperbolic discounting. We struggle to save for distant futures, while our present selves want to consume now. It's biological. Our brains evolved to survive today, not to optimize for age 85. Then there's the paradox of choice. When retirement planning becomes too complex, we freeze. Studies from the University of Chicago showed that when people face overwhelming decisions, they default to doing nothing. The bigger the number, the more paralyzed we become. Stop asking, how much do I need? Start asking, how much do I need coming in each month? This isn't semantic wordplay. It's the difference between panic and peace. Research from the Financial Planning Association examined two approaches to retirement: accumulating to a target number versus planning for steady cash flow. The cash flow approach consistently resulted in better outcomes and lower anxiety levels. Why? Because your brain understands monthly income. You've lived your whole life on monthly income. Your paycheck arrived regularly. Your bills came regularly. Your life operated on a rhythm of inflow and outflow. Retirement doesn't change this basic truth. You still need money coming in to pay for life going out. A retired cybersecurity analyst named Glenn documented his retirement planning journey. He didn't fixate on reaching a magic number. Instead, he built what he called a retirement paycheck, multiple streams of income that together covered his monthly needs. Think of it like this: which feels more secure, knowing you have $1 million in the bank, or knowing you have $4,000 coming in every month for the rest of your life? Your brain already knows the answer. The research backs this up. Morningstar studied retirees and found massive variations in how much money people actually need. Someone earning $150,000 before retirement might need only 60% of that income afterward. Why? They're no longer saving for retirement. Taxes drop, commuting costs vanish, work clothes gather dust, but someone earning $50,000 might need 90% of that amount because they were barely covering basics before they retired. There is no magic percentage. There is no magic number. There's only your life, your actual expenses, your real needs. Now we get practical. Forget the magic number. Build automated income instead. The three-bucket approach has been tested by financial planners since the 1980s. It's simple, it works, and it transforms anxiety into action. Bucket 1 covers your immediate needs. The next 1 to 3 years. This isn't your entire retirement fund. It's your peace of mind money, cash and cash equivalents, money market funds, certificates of deposit, things you can touch without selling stocks in a market crash. Why 1 to 3 years? Behavioral research from Harold Evensky, a pioneer in retirement planning, revealed something crucial. When retirees know exactly where their next year's expenses are coming from, they sleep better. They don't panic when markets drop. They don't make emotional decisions that destroy long-term wealth. Set aside $50,000 in high liquidity assets for your first bucket. Maybe more if you spend more, maybe less if your needs are modest. The specific amount matters less than the principle. You need money you can access immediately without selling investments at a loss. This bucket does two things. First, it handles emergencies. The water heater dies. The car needs repair. Life happens. You need liquid reserves. Second, it acts as a psychological buffer. Markets crash. They always have. They always will. But when you know you have 3 years of expenses in cash, market crashes become opportunities instead of catastrophes. The Financial Planning Association studied this extensively. Plans with cash reserves showed higher success rates than plans that stayed fully invested. Why? Because you're not forced to sell stocks when they're down. You can ride out volatility. You can wait for recovery. Bucket 2 generates your income. Bonds, dividend stocks, and stable investments. This is your income engine. Not growth, not speculation, just steady, predictable cash flow that arrives monthly like a paycheck. Allocate perhaps $200,000 to this bucket. Mix corporate bonds with dividend-paying stocks. The bonds provide stability. The dividends provide income that grows over time, hedging against inflation. Here's where automation becomes powerful. Set up automatic reinvestment when you're building wealth, but in retirement, flip the switch. Set up automatic distribution. Let those dividend payments flow directly into your checking account. Goldman Sachs surveyed retirees in 2023 and discovered something remarkable. 60% of retirees using a blended income strategy reported better lifestyles after retiring compared to only 49% who relied on a single income source. Diversification isn't just about investment risk, it's about income stability. Social Security forms one stream. Let's say that brings $2,000 monthly. A pension might add another $15 or dollars. Bond interest produces $700. Suddenly you're looking at $5,000 monthly without touching your principal match, that to your actual expenses. Not some theoretical replacement rate, your real grocery bills, your actual utilities, your known insurance costs. The beauty of this approach, you can see it working. Every month money arrives, bills get paid, life continues. No guessing, no hoping, just reliable income doing what income does. Bucket 3 focuses on growth. Equities for your later years. This might hold $250,000 in diversified stock funds, growth-oriented investments, things you won't touch for 10, 15, maybe 20 years. Why maintain growth investments in retirement? Because retirement isn't a moment. It's a season, possibly a 30-year season. Life expectancy research shows that people retiring at 65 today might live well into their 90s. That's 3 decades of inflation, 3 decades of rising costs. 3 decades of life. Your growth bucket protects your future self from your current spending. While buckets 1 and 2 handle today, bucket 3 grows quietly in the background, refilling the other buckets as they deplete. This approach echoes a finding from Fidelity Research. Retirees experience a U-shaped spending pattern. Early retirement brings travel activity, higher expenses. Middle retirement sees spending decline as people slow down. Late retirement can spike again with healthcare and long-term care needs. Your growth bucket prepares for that final spike. It's there when you need it, growing when you don't. And here's the automation magic. Set a calendar reminder twice a year. Move money from bucket 3 to bucket 2, from bucket 2 to bucket 1. Top up what you've spent. Rebalance, repeat takes an hour, twice a year. That's it. The rest of the time you live, you spend, you enjoy what you worked so hard to build. Let's talk about the enemy of retirement. Peace, decision fatigue. Every day you face financial decisions in retirement drains your energy. Should I sell today? Is the market too high? Too low? Do I have enough for this purchase? These questions are exhausting. Research in behavioral finance shows that decision fatigue leads to poor choices. We make worse decisions when we're tired, and retirement is long. You can't sustain decades of daily financial vigilance. Automation solves this. Set it up once, let it run, trust the system you built. Social Security, set to auto-deposit dividends, auto-deposit, bond interest, auto-deposit, systematic withdrawals from your buckets, schedule them annually, auto-transfer, build a monthly rhythm. The 1st of every month income arrives, the 5th, bills auto-pay, the 10th, check your balances, done. The rest of the month you live without thinking about money. Studies from the Center for Retirement Research found that automated systems dramatically reduce retirement anxiety. When income becomes predictable, life becomes enjoyable. Now, automation doesn't mean abandonment. Once a year, do a review. One afternoon, a pot of coffee, some quiet time, look at what you spent last year. Was it higher than expected? Lower? Did your needs change? Did healthcare costs spike? Did you travel less? Adjust your bucket distributions accordingly. Check your growth bucket. Did it grow? Great. Move some to bucket 2. Did it shrink? That's okay. You're still drawing from buckets 1 and 2 while 3 recovers. This annual ritual does something crucial. It gives you control without requiring constant vigilance. You're managing your retirement, not being managed by it. Financial planners at Bogart Wealth recommend starting this practice 5 years before retirement. Not because you need 5 years to figure it out, but because you need time to adjust emotionally to the shift from accumulating wealth to distributing it. That shift is hard. I've watched people who save brilliantly struggle to spend. They spent 40 years building a mountain. Now they're asked to climb down that mountain. It feels wrong. It feels reckless, but that's what the mountain is for. You built it to spend it, to use it, to live on it. The 3-bucket strategy makes spending feel safe. You're not depleting your entire nest egg. You're drawing from designated sources in a planned, controlled way. Let me give you some numbers that matter more than the magic number. Fidelity estimates that a 65-year-old retiring in 2024 needs about $165,000 for healthcare expenses alone throughout retirement. That's not total retirement funds, just healthcare. But notice the phrasing. Not you need $165,000 in your account. You need a way to generate $165,000 over time for this specific purpose. Maybe that's $5,000 annually for 30 years, plus inflation adjustments. See the difference? The focus shifts from accumulation to cash flow, from a lump sum to a stream. Research from William Blair on retirement cash flow planning emphasizes this point. Before determining how to generate retirement income, think about your actual goals, not theoretical goals. Real ones? Will you travel? How often? Where? Will you downsize? Buy a second home? Help grandchildren with college? Leave an inheritance? These aren't afterthoughts, they're the point. The money exists to serve these goals. The goals don't exist to justify the money. Studies and behavioral finance reveal why this matters psychologically. When people connect their financial planning to specific, meaningful life goals, they follow through. When planning stays abstract, they procrastinate. Here's what I want you to understand. You don't need a magic number. You need a system. A simple, automated system that generates monthly income from multiple sources, adapts to your actual life, and lets you sleep at night. The research is clear. The 3-bucket approach works: cash for security, income for living, growth for longevity. Set it up once, review it annually, live your life in between. Will this guarantee you'll never worry about money? No. Money is like weather. Sometimes it's sunny, sometimes it storms. But a good system is like a good house. It shelters you from the worst of the storm while you wait for sunshine. I've seen too many people reach retirement with plenty of money and no peace. They saved the magic number, then spent their golden years terrified of spending it. Don't be those people. Build your income streams, automate them, trust them, then do what you retired to do: live. Because here's the final truth. They don't tell you when they're selling you magic numbers. Retirement isn't about reaching a destination. It's about creating a life. And life isn't measured in net worth. It's measured in days well lived, moments savored. People love the money's just a tool. Use it. That's what tools are for. Your time is finite. Your peace is priceless. Build the system, automate the income, enjoy what remains.